Welcome to the second part of the Dakkajet conversion tutorial. In the first part I showed you how to assemble this. If you want to check that out, hopefully I'll put a link or something over here. If not, check the description below. So what I'm going to look at now is how I painted this all up. So here we go. This is where I left off the last video, and all I've done is spray painted it black. So just a flat black spray paint, whatever brand you've got is fine. Just try not to put it on too thick and make sure you get to cover everything. And there's another angle. Okay, so first step, Nekron Dry Compound, or Nekron Compound, the Citadel Dry. So this is your dry brushing stuff. This stuff I think is kind of like one of the new sleeper magic things in the GW paint range, because with just a big sort of tank dry brush I was able to do this look in like seconds, well maybe 30 seconds to do it. So all you do is kind of dab your brush in this stuff, which is like a really thick paste. You wipe it off a little bit and then you just start brushing everything on. So in general I would suggest brushing sort of front to back or back and forth, the idea being that you'll end up with sometimes you get some streaks, which is good in this case because it'll make it look a bit more like it's streaks from oil or scratches while they're flying around. So here's the base coat basically done, and that's very fast, very easy. And now we're moving on to other things. So painted on some black on all these raised panels, some of the what is that now? Warp stone or warp lock bronze. That's the new version of tin bits. And I've also gone around and done some edge highlighting here with Rune Fang steel. So you can see all those pieces here. I've also actually skipped a couple steps of doing washes. So I did a Bada Black, oh sorry, not Bada Black, Nuln Oil, so that's the black wash or shade, and Agrax Earth Shade as well. So I did that on these weapons here, and now I've gone over them with Rune Fang steel. And here you can see things are shaping up a little bit. So the idea is I just go around, pick out patches of different colors, and I'm going to add those accents. So what I'm doing here is all those panels I painted black, I'm going on with the Celestia Gray, which is a light gray, and I'm with a really fine brush, as you can see here. It's actually an 18-0 liner brush, watered down paint slightly. I'm just drawing a checker pattern. So first I draw one direction lines, sort of evenly spaced out, and then I draw the opposite, and then I'm just going to fill in alternating things, and you'll end up with something like this. So this is something that I've practiced many times with my orc army, and obviously with orcs it doesn't matter if it's perfect, but you're going to end up doing lots of it if you pick that pattern. So here you can see I've done it everywhere. You can kind of even see some of the areas where the lines are still apparent. I really wanted to do it on the nose cone there, the cowling. I thought that would look especially neat, especially with this this unique model in my army. So yeah, lots of checkered patterns here and there. Done some of the ruin, or not the ruins, the glyph plates there. Used red as my accent, so there's a little bit of red on this model, but not a ton. And yeah, you can see all the details sort of coming out. So these again, so that was just that dry brush, and then some washes, and then picking out the highlights with my Rune Fang steel. Alright, so I'm doing the same thing here, working up those highlights on the Warp Lock bronze, working up those highlights here and there. And I picked out a bunch of the panels on the original model to have different colors as well. So some of them I painted on lead belcher, and then did the washes straight onto that, so it would give it a bit of a different look than the dry brushed black. So tried to break up some of the colors here and there to help make it look patched and pieced together, even though the patches and pieces aren't really covering everywhere. This is actually the boss pool from the biker kit. just as I mentioned that one there. I think that's, yeah, things are coming along nicely now. Don't know that there's a lot more to mention. Oh, what I'm doing here is I'm adding streaks and paint chips to the checker pattern. So I'm going on with the dark gray and just kind of doing streaks here and there. I also did that with black, and I also went over some of the checker patterns and squared off things a little bit with fine black paint, just to make sure that the white didn't look overly large, and also to add some sort of simulation of paint chips. Here I am painting up the pilot. So started off with WAG green and sort of highlight up. I think it's Warboss green next, and then Skarsnik green, followed by the Bieltan green wash. Now for the Gretchen, I used the Moot green, I think is the highlight there. So this is much more bright green, kind of like Snot green and Scorpion green from the old range, and also gave that a wash. For the leather, the dark leather there, I used what is it? It's the equivalent of scorched brown, and then I used Mournfang brown to highlight that. Use a bit of grays and whites for that scarf, and a little bit of red accents on there as well. For the fur around his neck there, that's Zandri dust, some Agrax Earthshade, and then some Ungor flesh as a highlight. And did the same sort of a brown there for all of those. I think it's Scrag brown actually was the highlight. Either way, if you have the range, you'll be able to see those. And sorry for the blurry picture there, but I glued on sand. I had some scorched brown laying around, so rather than use the texture because it would just be way too big and use up all my texture paint, I just painted sand scorched brown and dry brushed it with the dry compound. I think it's Eldar flesh. So just a fleshy, basically a light brown sort of a look. And that's it. So you can see there's different patches here and there of things. Didn't really worry too much about the flat surfaces. I didn't actually add any decals to this, although I have added a lot to my Burna-Bomber. And yeah, the main thing here is using those checker patterns to kind of break up the surfaces, as well as some of the sort of the bronze-ish kind of look and a little bit of red here and there. So let's walk around the model, and you get to see some of the details and all the different angles. The other thing to mention, the canopy, I have some canopy glue that's meant especially for that. So the idea is that it won't mark things up. And if you use super glue, you'll end up with a haze. Just the way that it dries, it'll haze things. If you've seen it before, you'll know what I mean. If you haven't, it's kind of like a white fog that the super glue will dry. If you've ever seen CSI, it's how they pull fingerprints off of things. Anyways, I glued that on with a special canopy glue. White glue will work as well. Just obviously it won't be quite as strong as all of your other bonds. But the canopy, I painted around those edges just using pure black and then just a slight gray highlight just around it. Didn't do any other modifications to it. Didn't think it really needed it. And then I glued my little Gretchen there with his jump pack on the back. And you'll notice some of the panels that I glued together on this thing, they're actually all original kits. Actually, you'll see it on the underside. And I purposely glued them poorly. I'm going to claim that anyways. The idea is I would dry brush better. So there's kind of the attack angle that you would see. A little bit more close up of that Gretchen and the pilot dropping a stick bomb. And there's a slightly blurry picture of the Supa Shooters. And yeah, I think all in all came out quite well. It's going to look great on the tabletop, and obviously a nice conversation piece because people won't recognize a lot of the bits. Or, well, they'll recognize the bits, they won't recognize the main frame of it. And so yeah, there's some of the details. Also to mention, I sprayed it with a matte finish, but I did that before I glued these on. So I sprayed everything with a matte finish, and then I glued the canopy pieces on so that they wouldn't get coated in anything. And there you can see it on the base, pretty plain base, a little bit of the tufts from the new GW range, and some large slate pieces painted up to look like rocks, a little bit of static grass, and that's it. So a couple more angles there just to see what it all looks like. And the underside, so yeah, these the landing gear bits there, I had a couple different colors sort of mixed in. Actually, that's the battery packs from the las cannon. If I hadn't glued on the other set of guns, I could have actually added the Blitz bomber thing there. Anyways, I didn't. Anyways, yeah, so I glued these in purposely up, raised up so that they would dry brush nicely and look a bit more orky. But yeah, that's about it. You can see didn't do much detail on the underside because I don't think that anybody's ever really going to see it. And there's a bit of a different angle of the driver. And there's a comparison. This isn't quite done yet, but you can see sort of what they look like. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This part 2. If you want to see part 1, check out my channel or the links below, or perhaps even I'll maybe put some annotation links here. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.